Well, welcome back to the 21st annual Wild and Scenic Film Festival here in Nevada City in Grass Valley, California. We're here at the Communal Cafe, Nevada City, and it's been a fantastic weekend, and I'm just so honored. I'm Kimberly Ewing. I'm your host today at the Media Lounge, and I'm an arts advocate, traveler, and I'm really... I have the pleasure of interviewing someone really important today. Joining at me this morning is Eugenio Garcia. And tell us a little bit. Hello, welcome.
No, thank
Eugenio.
you.
Tell us
thank
your
you for
title.
having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Glad to be here.
Good. Mm-hmm. Tell me your role at the consulate. I mean, what do you do there? Tell us.
Right. So, I'm the Deputy Consul General of Brazil in San Francisco.
Right.
But now I'm the acting consul because my boss is in Brazil, precisely. So I'm in charge now of the consulate. So we have a jurisdiction including Northern California, but also the states of Washington, Oregon, and Alaska.
Wow.
Because in California we have two consulates.
Okay.
One is in Los Angeles,
right,
and the other mine is in San Francisco. So that's why I think it's important that all these cultural activities in Northern California that we should be aware and attend and participate, because this is very important. So I'm glad to be here. I just came from San Francisco.
Oh my gosh! And here you are at the Wild and Scenic Film Festival in this little town, Nevada City.
Wonderful city.
You love it? Okay, because I actually, there are many Brazilians who live here. I don't know if you know that, but there's a great Brazilian community here. They do capoeira, they do Brazilian dance, samba. So you're in good company up here.
I see. And the festival director, Lívia Menezes, she's a Brazilian.
Right.
So what happened was I was at my office last year, and she reached out to the consulate, say, "Hey, have you heard about us, the WildScenic Film Festival?" No, I haven't. So you should come. So yes, let's go.
I'm coming.
I'm coming. Yes, because she started explaining. Lívia told me about the idea of the promoting and protection of the environment and the rights of indigenous people.
Right.
I say, wow, this is important, and we should be there. So that's why I'm here.
And look at you, you're here.
She said you should come. So that's an invitation that it's important. That we should not being here.
Right, and this is now that you're in charge of the consulate, right? You're seeing big things. What do you feel so far? How has it been for you at the festival?
I'm enjoying the sites and people, the film goers. They're very exciting. And this afternoon, I think, even before lunch, there is a screening of a Brazilian film.
Oh, which one?
Which is The Wind Blows the Border.
Oh, okay, The Wind Blows the Border.
Wind Blows the Border is a Brazilian film, and I was told that this tells the story of an indigenous teacher in Brazil who fights for her community's rights for their lands. It's an indigenous community. So I'm curious to see what how they set the stage for this story.
Yeah.
But
I haven't seen that film.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's this afternoon, you said.
Yes, I think it's in a couple of hours or maybe before lunch.
Yeah.
But excited to see and looking forward to it.
Good. Well, one question I had for you, being someone who's observing the film festival and being from Brazil, I've traveled to Brazil a couple times myself, and went to the Amazon, in fact, to see the biodiversity and the ecosystems there. How are you feeling about things back home in Brazil in regards to environment and indigenous rights and all that?
That's precisely, I think, the most important thing now, because we have a new government in place. We had elections last year. So President Lula was elected, and now he made the environment a priority, because in the previous government it was exactly the opposite. When we had some problems, and earlier this month, President Lula came to Washington to meet President Joe Biden, and they both had a very nice meeting, a discussion on some important issues, including the environment, because now in Brazil we made climate change, for example, a top priority for the government, and Brazil made a bid to host the COP30, which is the United Nations conference on climate change.
Right.
This particular conference is scheduled to take place in 2025.
Okay.
This COP30. And the idea is to have this conference in Brazil, in Belém, which is a city, Belém of Pará. Do you know the Brazilian nuts?
Yes, I love Brazil nuts.
Yeah, they are from Pará. It is a state in Brazil, in the Amazon rainforest. And the capital of this state, Pará, is called Belém.
Okay.
So the idea is to have the conference hosted there.
Wow.
In the Amazon rainforest, because it's sending this message,
Right.
that we care and that the environment is a priority for us, for Brazilians, and for everybody, because it's care for the planet, it's care for where we treasure most, care for where we live.
Right. And if I remember correctly, the Amazon forest is a large percentage of our green space that provides the necessary things for our environment and our air quality. That's really important, and to see that you guys are taking priority there, that sounds and feels so good.
Yeah, and for example, one of the issues was the protection of indigenous communities.
Yes.
For example, the Yanomami, that we realized that they were suffering a lot, and now the Brazilian government is taking some very strong measures to defend the rights of these communities, these indigenous peoples in the Amazon rainforest,
Right.
in the whole country, including the appointment of the first ever Minister for Indigenous Peoples, which is the first ministry of this kind in the history of Brazil. So never an indigenous person was appointed to such a position,
So
which
this
is at
landmark.
the highest level of government. And she is an indigenous from the Guajajara community.
Okay.
So Sonia Guajajara is now the Minister for Indigenous Peoples.
Fantastic.
So this is new. This is and this is important. So I think it's something that we should
Celebrate.
celebrate and share and tell people that this is what we are trying to do. No?
That's
So
fantastic.
this is a huge change if you compare with previous years, when we had a government that really was not in tune with these very important issues and concerns. So I think Brazil is back, and Brazil has been changing
Look at that.
for better. So
Brazil is back. Look at you. I
Yeah.
love it. And you are at the helm of that. How does that feel?
I feel good because we need such a change, you know.
And it's going to take a lot of work, and attention, I'm sure,
Yeah,
just
I'm
like
sure,
in
yeah.
everything.
Because, for example, some of the problems in the Amazon rainforest, deforestation. But now that we have this new government in place with President Lula, the deforestation has already started to decrease. Because this was a problem that was not really taken care of. And now we have some. It doesn't take much to make a difference, actually, if really the government is doing what it's supposed to do. So with some very strong measures, now we have we hope to have deforestation under control. And in terms of protection of indigenous communities, in the case of Yanomami, for example, in the state of Roraima, it's in the north of Brazil, we also are taking some very strong measures against, for example, illegal gold miners.
Right.
Because you have the indigenous reserves that should be respected. because these are their ancestral lands. So, but these illegal gold miners, they just invade their. You see, this is a problem.
It happens.
That's
yeah.
not only in Brazil, but
No.
it was happening, and without really the government taking action. So these illegal gold mines would go to these reserves illegally and sometimes threatening these communities. You know? So now we are beginning to see the change, and I hope we'll make even stronger, take stronger actions to avoid the repetition of these problems that we had in the previous years.
It sounds like you guys are on the right track,
Yes.
and good leadership and the indigenous representation. It sounds like amazing
Sounds-
things are happening. I think we should get some of your filmmakers from Brazil to come and submit some of these films for next year and
Exactly.
see how it's going. Well, Eugenio, thank you so much
Thank
for
you so
being here.
much.
It's such a pleasure to meet you, and I just have a special place in my heart for Brazil, and so it's a pleasure to be in talking with you today.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Hey.
So you've been listening to the 21st Annual Wild and Scenic Film Festival's Media Lounge with Eugenio from Brazil, and I'm Kimberly. We'll be back for another session soon. Thank you so much for coming.